Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. Well, right now we're going to have a best of 2 series between Aero Gaming and First Departure from the Asia Division 1. And, well, as for casters, I'm Grandis Feet. I'll be joined by Banshee.
Hello everyone, as obviously we have been seeing both these two teams playing in a lot of recent matches. Arrow being on a very hot streak right now, winning a whole bunch of games, including beating Titan in a, what many would consider a huge upset right there. While First Departure, not really doing the greatest, especially in terms of the Star Ladder League. Been losing to a lot of teams, and in fact just lost to a best of 1 series to Arrow Gaming just previously earlier today.
Yeah, so it is going to be sort of First Departure definitely coming off of the back of a loss, as well as already being the underdogs, and now they're also running with the stand-in. I don't know, the stars aren't aligning for First Departure, let's say. I don't know, the first bans are looking pretty standard, at least for both of these two teams. Death Prophet Lycan banned out by First Departure, and a first ban Naga. Up against most teams, that's pretty peculiar, but Miracle getting his Naga is just something you usually don't want to do.
Yep, as, Miracle, I'd say that out of all the players on First Departure, he's the real star player on their team, the one that kind of brings things together, and you do see a noticeable difference in quality when, he's not turning up and when he is in that set of 5. As we're all going to see the Faceless Void instantly picked up. Obviously one of the better heroes in the current pool.
Yeah, usually you don't get to see him available in the draft since he is banned out, but with Aero Gaming banning out that Naga Siren, it will leave that available for First Departure. So it's a pretty solid setup for them, although I'm not sure what damage is actually going to go into the Chronosphere. How they're going to play this Void, it's still a pretty solid first pick, mostly because it's very flexible in the ways that you can lane it, and with what you can combo with it.
Yep, as in reality, although people like to point out, the Skywrath Mage and even to some extent the Witch Doctor, basically any hero that can deal huge amounts of damage does well with a Void, because a Void basically has a 5-second doom with the AoE.
More or less, yeah. Shadow Shaman, the first pick coming out from Aero Gaming. I'd like to see him pick up the Skywrath Mage for themselves, as I think that supporting duo is just really solid. Concussive shot into the Shackles early on makes him a pretty potent ganking duo. The silence from the Skywrath Mage is a great way to start off fights or keep that Faceless Void in place if he is an offlane Void. You have some killing potential there. But then again, they might look for a core hero. Brewmaster's still in the pool, although not the best against the Faceless Void because you can get all of your Brewlings stuck. There's still plenty of options for Arrow, and they will go for the Brewmaster. It's a really solid pick. If you aren't caught inside the Chronosphere, you can throw the Faceless Void up in the air with the Cyclone or Boulder Toss him, and just generally have a good amount of control. Although evasion's removed by the Chronosphere, mischance is not, so Drunken Haze is still going to be very important up against the Faceless Void.
Yep, and the Brewmaster also is pretty good if you can pop your ultimate right before the Chronosphere comes out. You basically have 5 seconds where your Chronosphere is useless if you've picked up the Brewmaster. And it is something we are kind of starting to see from teams in regards to countering a Faceless Void, in which they simply work out ways to make it so the entire team can, in one way or another, be invincible for 5 seconds.
Yeah, there's some other great heroes that are good defensively up against a Chronosphere. You have like your support's Vengeful Spirit. Shadow Demon are really solid, disrupting either the Faceless Void or the target he's going on, or swapping him out. But yeah, it is a great way to handle the Faceless Void pick. But Skywrath Mage will be left inside the pool, so First Departure pick up the very famous TI4 combo.
Yep, I am so surprised that these two people are picked together. The surprise is so amazing.
I don't know, that's pretty much how it feels, though. At this point in the metagame, it's pretty standard what we're seeing so far from both of these teams. The only real exception is that Naga Siren ban, but then again, it is First Departure and Miracle, so still no surprises just yet, although there's still plenty of room in the draft for both of these teams to expand. There's very little that we haven't talked about as far as these heroes, at least one time or another. Skywrath Mage is good against Brewmaster, but then again, if you get the jump on Skywrath Mage, he's more or less dead.
Yep, as it's, Skywrath Mage is a very good hero. The buff he got to his silence means he does huge amounts of damage, even at level 1. He basically can harass out any offlaner, and in fact, we might see him go mid, as the Skywrath Mage versus Brewmaster matchup is very hard in favor of the Skywrath Mage, just because of the evasion that Brewmaster brings that makes it so he wins most mid matchups. Just doesn't matter here.
Yeah, Arcane Bolt Harass is going to keep Brewmaster at arm's length. It might be a good option for I don't know, First Departure. I'm going to presume that this is going to be a Skywrath Mage support, but as the draft progresses, there is still that flexibility available to them. Invoker as well as Morphling banned out by First Departure. Ancient Apparition taken out by Arrow Gaming. Let's see. We still have an Earthshaker left in the pool as far as supports are concerned. Would be good for either team. Probably better for Arrow Gaming, I would say, as Earthshaker with the Faceless Void on the same team can't really do much as far as synergy with the Chronosphere, but then again, you have the Skywrath Mage, and that's about all you need. We do have the Miranda band coming out from Arrow Gaming. I don't know, Skywrath Mage isn't the best setup for that Arrow, but it's still pretty solid. Centaur Warner, the first pickup for Arrow Gaming. We're probably going to be seeing that Brewmaster towards mid and Centaur towards the off lane.
Yep, as the Cent, very good hero right there. You know, able to jump in, especially when you get that Blink Dagger onto the Skywrath Mage. And, you know, with the two Blink Dagger heroes we're seeing on Arrow Gaming, we're probably going to be looking for a very aggressive, after that 10-12 minute mark when they start picking up their Blink Daggers, they're going to want to go aggressive and start punishing that Skywrath Mage for, you know, just how squishy he is as a hero.
And even before their Blink Daggers, when they have the level 6 on the Centaur Warner as well as Brewmaster, they still have plenty of tools to really take some convincing teamfights in their favor. First Departure, respond with the Batrider. Batrider is a pretty solid hero, especially when you have a Skywrath Mage on your team, is when you lasso somebody, they're probably going to die. Sometimes, without that silence and control over the Brewmaster, if you lasso him into your team, you may just be setting up for his own initiation. But this game, I don't think we'll be seeing that, as the lasso is probably just going to hold him inside the Mystic Flare while the silence goes his way, and there's nothing the Brewmaster can do.
Yeah, because we are slowly going to be waiting for this last fourth pick coming out from Arrow, and I do say I do prefer Arrow's lineup right now, just in terms of how early game aggression. But, you know, First Departure, they could bring this back with, you know, they've got a pretty good lineup themselves currently forming.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to evaluate how this draft is actually going to pan out with just the first 3 picks. Mostly because they're very flexible picks, and they could be played in a lot of different ways. Yeah, the lanes might work out better for Arrow Gaming, and the early aggression could work out for them. But then again, you have a Batrider that's probably going to get his Blink Dagger almost no matter what, as even if he is forced out of lane, he can always back off into the jungle, Faceless Void, Skywrath Mage. Once they get their level 6s, it doesn't matter the amount of farm, as long as you find a good Chronosphere, so I don't know, it feels kind of even at this point. We're just waiting for Arrow Gaming to kind of show their cards as to what they're actually going to do, but their mid-game teamfight definitely is something to be scared of.
Yep, I will say that both these two teams probably are going to be a little bit more focused around that mid-game. We're not really going to be seeing any early game pushing and aggression, and we are seeing that Nature's Prophet being picked up by Arrow, and Nature's Prophet has kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, although he's kind of been remade with the Blink Dagger build on him. At the same time, his the fact he takes so long to get into that true split pushing area means that the current very fast metagame kind of forces him out of that role he used to take, especially during the TI3 finals.
Seconds to go.
Yeah, and well, Arrow Gaming, they have 3 core heroes that potentially could be going towards the off lane, and honestly, I have no idea how these lanes are actually going to work out for them. I'm going to assume that Centaur is going to the off lane, Brewmaster mid with Nature's Prophet as the safe lane farming core, and then they'll probably want to find supports that are more or less self-sufficient that can roam around all 3 of those lanes and get kills.
Yep, and I wouldn't be against the idea of a Earthshaker right now. He is a little bit greedy on the Arrow Gaming side, but at the same time, it does kind of fit into that 4 versus 5 lineup that we're kind of seeing from Arrow Gaming right now, allowing Nature's Prophet to go off and split push.
Yeah, definitely, and with the Centaur ultimate, even before Blink Dagger coming out from the Earthshaker, Echo Slam could be a pretty big factor in the teamfights, despite not seeing very many summons coming out from First Departure. Usually before Blink Dagger, the most you can hope to catch inside your Echo Slam is 2, but we might even see a little bit more than that. It is going to be a Witch Doctor for First Departure. There's secondary support to pair with that Skywrath Mage. It's a pretty solid supporting duel, although it's not the most reliable at ganking. It definitely can make things happen around the map, but the real time where they shine is once they hit their level 6s with the Faceless Void Chronosphere, and you can drop the Mystic Flare as well as the Death Ward. That's just so much damage, of mixed sources as well. Good mix of magical as well as physical damage from those 2.
5 seconds.
Yep, with the, you know, the Witch Doctor, he's not the most picked up support due to the fact that his stun, like you said, it's not the most reliable. If you compared to like a Shadow Shaman, or even the less picked up supports like Lion, Rubik, and the like, his stun, if you can get that perfect double bounce, it's amazing, but outside of that, it's often very underwhelming. But the real thing he does bring is, like what you said, that level 6 combo is fantastic. If they can hit the good Chronosphere, if they can hit that Scarlet Mage ultimate, if they can hit the Witch Doctor ultimate, then there's going to be a lot of people dying.
Yeah, definitely. The Batrider right now kind of feels a little out of place in First Departure's lineup. I think his job this game, more than anything, is going to be able to, picking off the Nature's Prophet as he's roaming around the map. As inside the team fights, usually you want to start things off with a Chronosphere, but maybe if they get a good lasso target and then Arrow Gaming group up to try to fight around that, maybe they can come in with a good Chronosphere. The synergy isn't that great with the Batrider this game, with the rest of his team, but it definitely could work.
Yep, as we are slowly going to be waiting for this last pick from Arrow Gaming, and obviously going to be looking for that last support.
10 seconds to go.
Plenty of supports they can still pick from us. You know, it's aside from the few really crucial supports like Shadow Shaman, the Scarlet Mage, outside of that, it's a very... I was going to say it's a very team, very flavor-based pick, because we do see them dying getting picked up, and we now have 4 offlaners.
More or less, yes. This Undying is probably going to be played as a support. I'm not sure how their lanes are going to work. An Undying pick kind of screams aggressive tri-lane, but then again, their aggressive tri-lane isn't that great for closing the gap. They'll probably have the Centaur Warrior as the farming core in that tri-lane if they do it. I don't know, this Undying pick feels very weird, but if he's able to get up an early level 6, the amount of damage that Arrow Gaming can put out in their team fights is absolutely ridiculous. It's going to put a lot of pressure on these heroes to get early Blink Daggers and get that base level farm for your Nature's Prophet.
Yep, as we are going to be seeing, how can First Departure, they are going to have a weakish tri-lane if they go for that usual Faceless Void safe lane with a Scarlet Mage and Witch Doctor, especially against an Undying who, you know, Undying does a lot of damage to tri-lanes. He is an amazing hero in the first 15 minutes of the game. He just kind of scale off hard after that. But the first 15 minutes, you can do so much damage. If you do see a Darkseer getting picked up, as there are a lot of offlaners in this match right now.
There really are. I don't know how these lanes are going to work. I think this is a tri-lane coming up from the Faceless Void with the 2 supports. They might attempt to dodge coming up from Arrow Gaming, but then again, Arrow Gaming might smell that out and just go defensive themselves. This Darkseer could set up for a beautiful vacuum into the Chronosphere, but then again, outside of that, there's not very good synergy with the rest of the heroes. This Darkseer pick kind of feels a little bit out of left field. If they wanted to get just a traditional offlaner, I think Tidehunter was actually still in the pool.
Yeah, and that's actually a little bit interesting that Tidehunter was still in the pool, as generally he is banned out to... if not in the first set, in the second set to bans, and if he isn't banned out then most of the time he's picked up with just how good that hero is at team fighting. He basically presses R and you reset the team fight. His Kraken Shell means he's definitely going to get it off, and he's an amazing hero just in general, but either way, he's not going to be in this game. We're instead going to see a total of 7 offlaners out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, as far as our players and the heroes that they're going to be on the Radiant side, we are going to have First Departure with Miracle handling the Faceless Void. The mid hero is going to be a Darkseer, played by Hana, and the bottom lane will be our Batrider, played by Dafa. The 2 supports will be Witch Doctor on Lubby, or Lubby on the Witch Doctor, rather, and K5, or KS on the Scarlet Mage.
In the meantime, on the opposite side, they are known as Arrow, coming back from TI4 and really boot camping and doing an amazing job. We do have Mozen on the Undying, Lance on the Centaur Warrunner, Zhang Zhe on the Nature's Prophet, MTR on the Shadow Shaman, and DDZ on the Brewmaster.
Yeah. I don't know, Brewmaster, one of DDZ's, I don't know, signature heroes. It's a really solid hero. I have no idea what in the world is going on in the chat.
I don't know.
Huh. Very, very interesting. Lots of all caps coming out from Miracle. I have no idea what he's upset about.
But either way, we are going to be seeing well, it doesn't look like it's going to be an aggressive tri-lane coming out from Arrow, which does make a little bit sense with this Undying, who could do an amazing job against the tri-lane, but it just look like it's going to be dodged with this going to only going up against this Batrider. So this tri-lane definitely looks like it was attempting to be a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation, use that Undying advantage, but, you know, FD are going to realize this and try and dodge that.
Yeah, I don't know, MTR does not start out with the boots, and they don't have a great way to start off the initiations in this tri-lane. So even if it was a tri-lane versus tri-lane, I think if First Departure just sat back and pretty much played the Void as an off-lane Faceless Void, maybe you get some pulls off with your supports. But other than that, he would still be able to get his levels without much issue coming out from them. But I don't know, this might be our first blood on the Batrider if he overextends and maybe doesn't expect these supports to be hanging around. Nature's Prophet is probably going to be guessed out by first departure that he is in this lane. He's going to try to pull away the creep aggro, but it's not going to work out for him. Currently, his sole Nature's Prophet is the Batrider. They tango through the trees. They do get a decay onto him, but not in range for the Shackles. Had they had boots onto MTR, that would have been a higher probability kill, but even then, I think that Bat would have been just fine with his boots first.
Yep, and we do see the Bat going to be fine, like we said, and I do also want to say that this middle lane is a little bit interesting, as we didn't expect this Doxia pickup, but I will say that this is very smart against his Brewmasters. This Iron Shell is just going to destroy DDZ in this lane. He's not going to be able to do very much. His evasion does nothing. And I don't see him having a very fun time here.
Oh, and the first blood is going to be on the Batrider as they're able to combo that one together. A secondary decay with the Shackles on the mark. They follow up with the Hoof Stomp. Very easy kill on the Batrider. Now our supports are going to start rotating with the smoke onto MTR as well as Mosin. They're looking to make a rotation. Ooh, let's see. Dark's here. If they catch him out, they'll need to perfectly drop him down, and potentially, they'd need to get him after the Surge was used. He is going to pop a Surge and then go over towards the side camps, but Nature's Prophet, similarly in the effectual offlane or solo safe lane position, Dungzai is not having a very happy time. 0-0 is CS, and only level 1, completely zoned out, mostly due to the fact that you have a Skywrath Mage and a Witch Doctor waiting there, and if you show your face, you might end up dying. MTR as well as Mosin are going to turn around after stealing a couple of these creeps from the enemy jungle and potentially make a move for Dafa. I don't know. These supports are using a lot of their time and feel kind of undecided as to what they actually want to do.
Well, they did harass out the Doxia a little bit, but at the same time, you know, not quite exactly what they were looking for. They really needed that Brewmaster to have that final bit of damage. And the Batrider, well, you know, both these two offlaners just not having a very good time right now, especially, you know, the Nature's Prophet, he almost died once. The Batrider's already died, and, you know, this is basically going to be a very defensive, tri-lane dominated game right now.
Yeah, and, well, as far as who's that favors, I think it's going to favor First Departures. Their mid lane matchup is also going their way, although slightly. Brewmaster is not doing terrible in this lane. He's able to see us under his tower pretty effectively, even when the lane is pushing in with the Ion Shell. But yeah, I definitely would have liked to have a farmed Faceless Void rather than a farmed Centaur. The Blink is going to be nice, but Miracle is going to be able to do a lot more damage, and as we already said earlier inside the draft, they have plenty of damage to put inside that Chronosphere once he gets it. So every time he uses it, it is more or less going to end into a kill if he has the backup there.
Yeah, Pez. We are kind of seeing this Cent just being allowed to get the fast farming needs. Probably going to be looking for at this moment as we see a possible kill to the Batrider coming out. They don't quite have the speed to be able to catch him up, though, as they are going to try and dive this tower a little bit, only taking a few shots at Lancer's face. And a little bit of a shame right there. If Stent would have got that stomp off, that would have been a definite kill, but Batrider just a little bit too fast.
I think this is one of my biggest problems with the Undying pick. It's just not allowing the Shadow Shum to do much. Skywrath Mage picks off the Nature's Prophet up top. Both of these offlaners just having a terrible time. I think that was more or less, I don't know, just a solo kill. Dungzai was just harassed so much by KS. They might have had a concussive shot, or rather a paralyzing cask, which it looks like they did. Not sure how many bounces they got, but yeah, another kill going towards the offlaners. It's 1-1 as far as the kill score is concerned.
Yeah, but that Nature's Prophet, it was just going to be a matter of time. If he wanted to get anywhere near that, you know, creep wave, he was going to eventually get caught out just by the huge amount of harassment and, you know, possible damage that this tri-lane has on FD's side.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dungzai back up into his jungle. I don't think there's very many other heroes that are going to abuse it, and I think he'd accomplish more there. He's pulling off the creep aggro with his treants, which is nice, but his tower is still at half damage, and I don't think it's actually going to survive for much longer. The Undying's still sticking around in bottom as the Shadow Shaman's off roaming around. Yeah, not sure what they're actually going to be able to accomplish. This Darkseer has been zoned out by the Brewmaster, and now Brewmaster has actually picked himself up a little bit of an advantage, almost picking up the level 6, but then again, so does the Darkseer. Level 6 for Brewmaster means a lot more, however, as Darkseer really needs level 8 before he actually is able to really get much done.
Yeah, Pez. We do actually see right now, if we have a quick look at the last hits and denies, surprisingly, the Brewmaster's actually doing a pretty good job against what many would consider to be a pretty stacked matchup. As in getting those last hits in, and the Darkseer, he is slightly out-leveling his opponent, but not quite getting the farm you'd expect with that domination.
Yeah, Brewmaster, although he's low, has a regeneration rune, and we might see an attempted kill with the split. They could get it with a support rotation in.
Yep, the support rotation coming in, and if they can get the ultimate off from the Brewmaster, maybe they can get the kill. But we just see the DDZ being harassed back, and they don't know he's up there. And he is now going to show himself, just popping out at the wrong moment, and Hannah is going to be more than fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Shadow Shaman, he needs a blink or something if he wants to try to get these kills. But yeah, Shekels, they don't have the best range, and the movement speed on Shadow Shaman really is pretty terrible. So not able to do much. DDZ is still going to eat a lot of harass in this lane, but it's just been very passive for the first portions of this game. Both offlaners giving up 1 kill up against Trilans with decent killing potential. Batrider probably getting a little bit more than this Nature's Prophet, although there's more levels on Nature's Prophet, so maybe I take that one back. And he's also CSing better. They have rotated the Undying up here as well. 2 points up in the Tombstone, 1 into the Decay, but Undying's time to shine is almost past, to be honest. He's really just there for the laning stage, and he hasn't gotten a significant advantage to transition well. Throw 1 Decay, 2 Decays towards the Faceless Void. He's currently sitting at pretty low strength, but it's nothing he can't handle. He now has the Chronosphere available. They can't go on to him. Even if they lock him down with the Sprout, they'll need the Shackles coming up from the Shadow Shaman if they want to hope for a kill, and even then, it's not guaranteed.
Yep, I will say this Undying is worrying me a little bit, as he's very low level, and it's like what he said, the early game is really what he does. Reduce the Chronosphere again pops off, and Nature's Prophet goes down. Shadow Shaman soon to follow, surely.
Or will he? Yep. Miracle, time walk away. That's going to be 2 easy kills for him. Backtracks the tower hit as well. The zombies are going to chase him, but he's salving up. They will cancel the salve, but he's going to be more or less fine. The zombies just 1 smack apiece and they'll be dead. Under tower, Miracle was just able to completely man fight up against them, and with the maxed out bash, he only needed a couple of those to drop down fairly low HP heroes in the form of the Nature's Prophet as well as the Shadow Shaman, sitting at about 600 apiece. It was pretty straightforward for the Faceless Void to do that, and, well, Arrow probably underestimating the Faceless Void there. They thought that they could actually stand up against the solo Void, but they were mistaken. It is going to be the Skywrath Mage sitting down towards bottom, trying to get up his levels as well. Currently only level 3, I believe he's the lowest level in the game, tied with the Shadow Shaman. Those level 6s are going to be very important for them, but they're nowhere close. They're just trying to find whatever they can. Mostly due to the fact that they have been in a tri-lane all game.
Yep, and the real scary thing, so to say right now, is that Scent has just hit his 7-minute blink, plus Tranquil Boots, meaning he now wants to get active, he now wants to start punching people in the face and doing some amazing things. He's already TPing top, and Void is going to have to be careful.
Currently, Miracle's far enough back in order to be safe, and I don't think he's going to get caught out here. I think he knows what's up. I don't know. Maybe he bumps into the Centaur here. He pulls the creeps over, and while he's farming up, now he's going to get Hoof Stomp double edge. None of that backtrack, and Miracle caught between some enemy creeps. He's going to be fine now and just starts right-clicking Lance. Does not get a bash and will be forced back, but without the Undying or Shadow Shaman there to follow up, they didn't have the damage to get that kill.
Yep, as we are going to be seeing the Chronosphere is going to come off cooldown in a few moments. He's getting bottled up, and you know, every single time the Chronosphere is off cooldown, you can just go for another kill. You can go for more damage, you can go for more destruction, so to say. And that's the power of a Faceless Void, that even when he doesn't have that farm as that hard late-game carry, his ultimate is still amazing.
Absolutely, and he's going to have a Mask of Madness on top of that. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, especially if he has like the Ion Shell on top of him, even without these level 6 follow-ups. Batrider's farm is pretty lackluster at this point, but he's getting closer to that Blink Dagger, and he does have his level 6's Darkseer. Kills the Undying immediately as the Brewmaster gets the kill onto the Skywrath Mage. It looks like they had no split used for that, and they were just able to chase him down. After a Thunderclap and split, I'm not sure what happened to the Undying, though. It looks like it was just a Darkseer pretty much killing him up with the Faceless Void jumping in. He looks for the tower hit. There's no deny coming up from the center. Now time walk forward. Looking for the bash. He gets it. No Chronosphere expend for that. So 1-for-1 trade across the map.
Yeah, but I don't really think the Chronosphere would have been a good usage there, just simply because of the Scent. Out of all the heroes on Arrow's side, he's the most tanky. He's the most difficult to take out.
Yeah, with
meaning that... meaning that, you know, it wasn't a secured kill when, you know, on any other hero it would be a secured kill.
Yeah, with 8 armor as well as 1,000 HP, he's pretty tanky. Maybe if he had the Mask of Madness there, Miracle would have considered it a little bit more, but even then, he probably wants to save it. Down in bottom, we still have DDZ, as his Blink Dagger as well as the split, and I think Dafa is going to die here as the Blink clap, and the split doesn't even come out as the hoof stomp double edge from Lance is enough to secure that one. Now with the Nature's Prophet down here, they're going to put a little pressure on this tier 1 tower. Faceless Void's farming very aggressively up towards this tier 2 tower, but with the rotation down towards bottom, he definitely can afford to do so. This Blink Dagger from the Batrider was almost going to come out. In fact, he probably had enough gold to buy that before he died, and just wasn't fast enough on his fingers in order to do so.
Yeah, because we are going to be seeing a rotation.
Bashed to death by Miracle there, and now the Chronosphere catches out MTR, and he's going to be bashed down as well. 2 supports going the way of Miracle. 1 more bash is all he needs. He's shackled under tower, backtracking a decent amount of that damage, and well, there you go. Miracle has maxed out Time Walk at this point, and he's going to farm himself up the zombie tombstone as well, taking a lot of damage from those zombies. But a Time Walk away should keep him safe. No, just Mask of Madness going to bash those down as Centaur dies down in bottom with the Batrider jumping in. Darkseer gets that kill with the Ion Shield damage, as well as a couple of right clicks. They do have a little bit of sustain coming up from the Witch Doctor, and now potentially looking for more as they do sticky up DDZ. One time they have the Blink Dagger on the bat, but no more Lasso. And, well, he's going to look for it. Snags an Illusion Rune, but that's it. Yeah, this Faceless Void is getting really scary. 4-0 and 2 on Faceless Void, and he hasn't really left his lane at all. 91 CS as well. At 11 minutes in, he's about as farmed as you could ask for. He's going to get hexed up behind this tier 2 tower, but just look how aggressively he's playing. Time Walk, TP out for Miracle, finally has had enough. But, yeah, this Faceless Void has pretty much anything you could ask for.
Yeah, but and that's the really, that's not just the power of Faceless Void, that's the power of Miracle. Again, like what we said at the beginning, he's really the star player for FD, the real playmaker, and right now he's making plays against what many would consider the far stronger team out of these two, with Arrow really lagging behind. I'm a little bit worried for them at the moment, as they do have the weaker late game.
Yeah, 6,000 advantage thereabouts in gold and experience, both in the favor of First Departure. Most of this is on the back of the Miracle, but the Darkseer has not been playing poorly at all. Has the Arcane Boots mechanism up at 12 minutes, and they can look to push down some of these towers. They don't have the greatest push, but with 3 points up in the Voodoo Restoration on the Witch Doctor, they have some pretty good sustain to do so.
Yep, and we are kind of seeing both these two teams starting to group up into that mid game. Now 12 minutes in. The Blink Daggers on all the main heroes have been picked up, you know, apart from the Shadow Shaman, who's still in that ward duty with only those Arcane Boots, and the Tombstone getting popped up almost immediately, and...
Oh, there goes the Lasso onto MTR. They're going to bring him down. Shadow Shaman did not stand a chance. No Miracle behind the tower has a Chronosphere. Might look for Lance here. He does have a Time Walk as well, potentially looking for 2 heroes. And he's going to continue pursuing. DDZ as well as Lance are in reserve. They have their Blink Daggers, and they are going to be forced back. Nature's Prophet Ultimate comes through, and the zombies are spawning here. But, no, Tombstone's going to time out. Now this tier 1 tower going to take a decent amount of damage. They have the Blink Initiation from the bat as well, although he does not have Lasso available, since they use that to get the Shadow Shaman kill. It's more or less a standoff, but I think this tower is going to fall eventually, but we'll have to see when that is. They have Time Walk, look for Chronosphere, and Zhongzai is going to catch him out. Zhongzai with only the Midas did not stand a chance. Now the Skywrath Mage ulti, kind of a little bit of overkill there, but definitely worth it. They're able to get the kill. There's the Paralyzing Cask bouncing back, bounces to Mosin. Arrow are completely zoned out. The tier 1 tower is still standing, however.
As in, right now, I do feel that because they're using that Chronosphere, they are, although they pick up a very nice kill, they are probably going to have to give up the attempt on this tower, as in fact, it looks like they still want to go for it. Initiation from the Zen. 3-man stomp, absolutely perfect, but there's just no follow-up, as the Brewmaster just couldn't get there in time. His Blink Dagger on cooldown.
Yeah,
that was a shame.
It really was. That would have been a beautiful follow-up coming up from DDZ if he was able to make it happen. Lance, he just caught 3 heroes on the very edge of that hoof stomp. I didn't even think it would hit any of them, but in the end, just beautiful hoof stomp. Too bad it wasn't followed up, but they'll defend their tier 1 tower still, despite giving away quite a few kills. And I don't know, we're going to have a completed Black King bar very close for Miracle. Only needs the last component, and I don't know, even then, only about 750 gold away. He's going to be very stacked.
Yeah, but this Void is getting out of control. And also, it's worth noting that Darkseer is also having a pretty good time in terms of gold. Already got his mech up, also 900 more gold, and is currently the 2nd highest farmer in the game, with a net worth of 5,000.
Yeah, with Arrow's lineup, they really need to make a lot happen when they got these Blink Daggers online. The Undying pick is now almost completely useless. He can't do anything. He has a Tombstone, but even that's focused down a little too quickly. He's not tanky enough to really make use of his ultimate. He'll just die if he tries to run into the fray, and that's really where you want your Undying to be. He's not able to do that, and Yeah, I'm not sure Arrow have what it takes to actually carry through this game. They have Midas on their Nature's Prophet, so maybe they'll be able to rely on the split push, but he's just too long before he actually gets that online. Usually Zhongzai is very active with his Nature's Prophet, but this game died 4 times, 1 assist to his name, and that's it. Faces Void up top. He might get collapsed upon, but this is scary. They have a Chronosphere, and he's just going to jump straight onto Lance. They can't do anything about this. They drop the Tombstone on the sidelines, and Lance is going to be bashed down eventually. He is healed up by the Undying. They TP in everything. He does not have a time walk for 4 seconds, but I think Miracle is going to survive, or will he? The Sprout comes out. He's going to be shackled up as well. He buys the BKB before he falls, but a good pick off for Arrow Gaming. Not exactly what First Departure wanted, but I don't know. It's still not the end of the world. They're pushing down bottom as well as mid, so Arrow aren't going to be able to transition that kill into any towers. And 30 seconds, Faceless Void will be back up.
Yep, and that again, that was very in favor of Arrow right there, picking up that kill into Faceless Void in return for Ascent. But at the same time, like we said, they can't really do anything with it, and this disadvantage is going to keep expanding, especially with this second Tier 1 tower going down, while all of the Tier 1 towers on the opposite side. FD's Tier 1 towers are looking pretty healthy, as in the bottom one's on half health, the middle one hasn't really not been touched at all, and the same is, the top one is basically on full health right now, so only about half a tower of damage been done so far.
Yeah, and Darkseer, he's going to have enough for his Blink Dagger available, so he could be seeing some pretty huge initiations from First Departure very soon. He doesn't have the second point into the wall, which is actually quite interesting at level 11. Not sure if he's saving the point, or if he actually went for stats. Okay, yeah, no he didn't. As they are going to take this last Tier 1 tower standing on the side of Arrow without any contention. They're going for the Tier 1 tower bottom. It was already at half health, but they're committing all of their heroes for it, and well, with the smoke on First Departure, I think they can find a good initiation here and potentially catch them completely off guard. They are leading with a hasted Dark Series, looking for the vacuum. They have the smoke pop, surge onto the Faceless Void, looking for the Chronosphere. Where's it going to be? BKB doesn't even pop it. The Central Ultimate pop back as they get a beautiful vacuum onto 4, but no Chronosphere just yet from Miracle. They're going to lose their Batrider in return. The Scarlet Mage ulti, as well as the Witch Doctor ultimate, are going to bring pretty much everybody down on the backlines. There is still the Undying in the midst of this. He's actually able to TP out before falling. Barely alive. Mosin, the only survivor. They get the Tier 1 tower, but at a very hefty cost, 1 for 4, in the favor of First Departure.
And that was without the Chronosphere. The Chronosphere, there wasn't really a good place to use it, so he just didn't. He just went and right-clicked people in the face, and with the amount of farm he has with his BKB, his Mask of Madness, there's no reason why he needs to pop that Chronosphere unless it's perfect.
And he's going to have even more items on top of it very shortly. He has another 2,000 gold on top of his items that he already has completed. We're probably going to see Maelstrom into Mjolnir, or he could just go straight up damage. Like a little Crystallis wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah, because, at this point, the Void can pick up whatever he wants, and it doesn't really... There is no pressure on him to, go for that early game aggression. His Void is going to go taken out there, though, playing a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, caught out by the Blink of Stomp coming out from the Centaur Warner. Not fast enough on the figure for the time walk. And that's a decent amount of cast time as well, and I think he was faced the wrong direction, so wasn't able to get out there in time. And Arrow, yet again, are going to find a good pickoff on the Faceless Void. Still 7-2-4, not a very shabby KDA by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know, getting picked off twice is not really where you want to be. There's an illusion that's not going to spot out the smoke ink, and they might be able to find out the poor Witch Doctor of Lubby. I think Lubby is very dead here. They're not going to go for it just yet, and they actually miss a Hoof Stomp. They're going to jump in with the Central Ultimate. He's silenced up, however, and can't get off a Hoof Stomp, and now the cask is bouncing through to a lot of heroes. They don't have any follow-up. They get the Shackles on the Lubby. He's going to be mech'd up by the Darks here. They vacuum back only 1 of MTR. MTR is under tower, and now the Chronosphere comes out. They're going to be able to focus down 1, now 2. Mosin dropped down by the Scarlet Mage Ultimate as well as the Faceless Void. On the backlines, we do have DDZ trying to focus down the Scarlet Mage. He's slowed down. He will get the Thunderclap off, but can't get another auto attack. There's the split. He might be able to get KS here, but they're focusing down these Brewlings. They're going to lose the Fire 1 immediately in case KS is still surviving. He's going to get Boulder tossed up, but the Voodoo Restoration is keeping him more or less alive here as, well, now the only surviving Brewling is going to be focused down by Miracle, and he's going to die inside of the split. You usually don't see that at this point in the game, but too much damage coming up from this Faceless Void, and he's going to have another Mithril Hammer into his inventory, well on his way, presumably towards Mjolnir.
Yeah, but that's just showing the power right now, just how far ahead they are. We did have to get a buyback coming out of the Faceless Void to pick up those 3 kills, but definitely worth it.
Definitely. It's going to leave him pretty much at the same amount of gold that he had before dying the first time. So yeah, nothing really lost for the Faceless Void, although for the next 5 minutes, he is going to have to be sure not to get caught out in a compromising position, but even if he does, I don't think Arrow are going to be able to push into anything significant. It's the only tower that they have down is the tier 1 and bottom, and oh, they catch out the poor Nature's Prophet. That's your Blink Lasso into the Skywrath Mage ultimate. He did not stand a chance.
Yeah, because we are going to be seeing the solo Roche attempt coming out from Miracle, and at this moment, I don't think Arrow has any reason to think this is going on right now. They don't have any vision in that area. Their only ward right now is one in the aggressively behind this tier 1 tower, which has only been hit down to half, and one in the enemy jungle. Which means they have no idea this Void is going off.
Yeah, they might find themselves a Skywrath Mage here as Concussive Shot not going to stop the Centaur ultimate. They're going to get the Hoof Stomp onto him after the Shackles, and well, Chaos is going to give his life, but I suppose space created as Miracle's still bashing away at this Roshan, and I don't think they know this is going on. It's going to be a very awkward moment whenever that pops up, but I think he'll be able to time walk away to safety. They're probably not going to lose this tier 1 tower in mid, but yeah, there we go. That's an Aegis for Miracle. Going to pick that one up, and he's going to have enough gold for his Maelstrom, and he might be able to just transition straight into the fight in mid. He's going to walk through, potentially looking for a Chronosphere, but Arrow are just backing out. There's too much farm in this Faceless Void really to contest.
Yep, and at this moment, they just can't go up against this Void if there's any amount of, you know, even basically the only way they can go up against the Void if they pick him off 1 versus 5 without him realizing the initiation is coming in.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't even have the greatest ways to initiate. The Hoof Stomp is it, and well, that has a decent amount of cast time and gives Faceless Void time to react with the BKB or the Chronosphere. So yeah, Maelstrom now in your Faceless Void. This would look good at about 30 minutes into the game. Not perfect, but it wouldn't be too shabby. Right now he's just too big, as now he's going on to DDZ. He's not going to be able to beat through that evasion here, but now with the Darkseer coming out, he might even look for the Chronosphere onto all of those Brewlings, but Miracle's going to be dropped down very low. He's just signed up for too long, and he will fall, loses Aegis as they lasso back Lance. Not to the high ground all the way. They are going to cliff him, but he is going to be able to walk through his trees. He's brought down by the right clicks there. Now the Chronosphere comes out on the 3 heroes, including the Brewmaster who's inside his ultimate. They'll bring down the Undying. They'll bring down the Shadow Shaman. Now the Brewmaster is back into his Brewmaster form, but with the silence as well as the bashes coming out from Miracle, it's too much. 4 heroes for an Aegis. First Departure are going to be very happy with that exchange and probably going to get a tier 2 on top of it. If not, the 5th kill. Zhong Zai being focused down. 4 stacks of that sticky napalm. He gets an ultimate off, but GG comes out from Arrow. Not a huge chance to come back after just a commanding performance. Mostly coming out from Miracle. But the other heroes did very well. That Darkseer pick caught me off guard, but it panned out for First Departure.
Yeah, and I will feel it's not just a pick, but basically Miracle had an amazing game on the Faceless Void. They didn't stop him at all. He got basically free farm, and just look at his gold per minute right there, 625, and it was only 22 minutes into the game.
Yeah, very scary, and well, this is a best of 2 series, so we're going to have game 2 coming up on HeflaTV 2 very shortly, so don't go anywhere. Next lobby should be up without much of wait. I'm going to see he's Banshee, and we'll be back soon.